Roy, a 5-star performance from the Chevys, winning the game 5-2 overall in a sort of derby day, you could say, against Colne. Can you just give me your overall thoughts on the game, please?
Yeah, first of all, obviously delighted that we've got the 3 points. Really pleased with the performance today. It's obviously, I think it's no secret we've really struggled scoring goals. We've not been scoring at all, so for us not only to get the 3 points but to score 5 goals in the process, I think tops the day off for us. Like I said to you before, if I'm going to be a little bit picky, a bit disappointed with the 2 we've conceded, but they're only minor things. But overall, absolutely delighted.
I could be wrong, but apart from the Droylsden game, I believe those 2 are the only games that we've actually scored 2 in the first half.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I thought we were good value for our lead at half time as well. I thought we were on the front foot. Little tweaks to the system today as well to allow us to get more bodies further forward. I felt worked for us. I thought we caused them a lot of problems, especially with Macca down that right hand side in the first half. I thought it was unplayable in that area at times. But credit to everyone today, because that was a real team performance and all 16 players played the part in it.
Do you feel like, though, of course, scoring the second goal, going up at the half, like you already mentioned, meant that we could kind of push on into the second half and then, of course, ultimately win the game?
Yeah, of course. Goals change games, and I felt, whilst we were 1-0 up, we were a little bit in control. They get a bit of a fortuitous equaliser when the lads crossed it and it sailed over Brad. But that then give them a little bit of impetus, and for the next 10 minutes they put their authority on the game and probably looked a little bit more likely than we did. But then Macca's delivered a fantastic corner in there. And I've said all along, when you whip balls in with that sort of degree of accuracy, you're going to cause teams problems. And to be fair, I think when we went 2-1 up, the big message at half time was for us not to sit deep, not to try and hang on to it. But I felt if we could get a third goal, we could go on to win the game quite convincingly. And I think with about 15 minutes of the half gone, we got the third goal. And I think from there on in, there was obviously only going to be one winner.
Yeah, but of course, kind of like you mentioned, a bit of a formation change of sort, going from a 4-back into a 3-back. What meant we kind of had a +1 in the midfield and going forward. Do you think that was a factor, for one, in us, of course, getting more goals, but also what was the reason for the change?
Well, obviously the reason for the change is, we needed to change our shape and try something a little bit different, because we'd not been scoring enough goals previously with the system that we were working. And Matt and I discussed it yesterday at length. We just felt that really today was probably a good day for us to try it with 3 at the back. And I felt for today it worked. That's not to say the next game we'll play that system. We might do something totally different. It will be different systems for different games, but we just felt today we needed to get more bodies, we needed to be more on the front foot, and that allowed us to do that. And like we've seen, as a consequence, we've managed to score 5 goals.
Yeah, kind of like you mentioned. Do you believe if you're playing a different team that you could say is higher up table or a better quality or lower down the table, that your tactics and overall system will change?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got to look at the opposition, where strengths and weaknesses are. We've got to look to exploit weaknesses within the opposition, but also we've got to look sometimes about, again, some of the better sides making ourselves really hard to beat and, maybe trying to snatch things on the break. But, that's football, and all teams at all levels have different ways of playing. And the pleasing thing for me was Marley, our home form haven't been great this season, so it was great because, without doubt, I don't know what the crowd was, but without doubt the biggest crowd of the season for us today. So it was nice to send the majority of them home happy.
Yeah, kind of going on to the supports like you mentioned. I believe heard it was just over 200. Do you feel like a kind of a Boxing Day kind of push for the attendances kind of?
Well, obviously, I mean, the original fixture was due on Boxing Day, but we spoke to Colne and both felt it was going to be more beneficial to play the game today. Certainly from our perspective, Silverstone were at home yesterday and got a big crowd. Bradford City were at home yesterday and got a big crowd, and those affect our game. So I don't think we would have had the attendance today had we played yesterday. And obviously, I'm not a massive fan sometimes of Boxing Day football. So I think it was nice that we had the day's rest and we got it back on Saturday. So back in Tuesday and we go again next Saturday.
Finally, it kind of felt like this game was kind of something we saw last season. Of course, we had a start of this season, with having that good run of beating Ashton Town, then going to Holker and kind of overing on them. Do you feel like, of course, also being at home a majority of the season now, do you feel like that this game could be the factor of getting back into a good run of form?
Listen, I think we just enjoyed today's game. We'll watch it back, we'll analyse it and see the areas, like I say, we can improve. But we're keeping our feet on the ground. Me and Matt have managed a lot of games between us at this level. We know what football's like. We need to try and use this now as a platform to build on and get a good run of results going. But the only way we're going to do that is by working as hard as we have done today, and especially when we haven't got the ball. So we've got to find ways to make Marley a bit more of a fortress. Like I said, I don't think we've picked up enough points at home for my liking this season, and hopefully today, like I said, gives us a bit of a springboard and a platform to go forward.
Thanks for your time, Roy.
Cheers, Luke.